Hello everyone, welcome to a special video here on this channel. Today I've got the complete honor to do an interview with the amazing Arlen Aguayo Stewart. Thank you so much for doing this. You are doing so much more than what's usual for actors to do.
Oh, it's it's I mean it's a really nice thing to be able to connect with other people, like whatever that might be. And I think like acting is or performing or writing, all these things are just a form of connection. So this is just an extension of that. So yeah.
Feel free to answer anything in German.
Okay.
Don't
I
feel
do
pressured.
I have to clarify that like I'm fluent in my other five languages, but German is very, very beginner. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. And so I did the German class in university a long time ago, and I don't learn very well in class. I learn so much better like in if I'm immersed somewhere or if I'm watching something, and I do like watching German cinema. But and when I have traveled to Germany, like I remember just hearing it, and I was just like like vocabulary was coming back to me. So it's been a while. So I can't say I will really answer anything in German, but if I were to get the opportunity to like immerse myself and be really good, then I promise you I will do a whole interview in German. I just need to get to the right level. I'm just not there yet.
You kinda did answer something in German, though.
I mean, there. I'm very basic, very, very basic.
Speaking of German,
Yes, yes.
when and why did you start learning German?
Um, well, I like languages in general. But I had been watching, I'm really lucky that my family exposed me to a lot of films from all over the world, and part of that was Germany. And I just been watching some films, and then I needed a class in university. Like I needed to fill my schedule, and I was like, well, what interests me? And I was in a very like academic-y university. It wasn't very artsy. And I was like, German, great. Why not? It's beautiful. I also had studied Brecht, who's a German playwright, Bertolt Brecht, and he's the author of the Verfremdungseffekt, the alienation effect. And his kind of theater, he's done a lot of very interesting plays, and um, I would really love one day to be able to read his plays in German, and I find it to be very beautiful, and I actually find it very delicate as a language. I think some people see it as very harsh, but I think there's a lot of like delicacy in the pronunciation and the sounds. Um, yeah, but I also think all languages are really beautiful. So, but that's specifically what I recognize in the German that I've heard.
Wow, you don't hear that often. Most think German sounds rather
There's
harsh.
such a stereotype. There's a big stereotype of how people. This is my opinion, obviously, but I think a lot of people will will learn about Germany or know about Germany through stereotypes, and so and I think about all cultures really, we kind of stereotype the way things. Um, yeah, I'm not being very articulate, but yeah, I think that if you listen, I mean, if you watch a lot of German things, you'll notice like I mean, yeah, there's consonants. There's ways to really like live through those consonants, and yeah, that's just my opinion.
You did a vacation in the year of 2022
Yes,
when the show was still airing
yes, I did. Yeah.
through Europe. Were you also
Mm-hmm.
in Germany?
No, I wasn't. I was in Denmark, but I wasn't in Germany. I did stop by Denmark to see some really good friends.
I saw some photos and stuff you shared.
Yes, yes, I showed bits of those travels.
Have you ever seen any superhero TV shows?
Have I ever seen any superhero TV shows? Oh my God. I feel like if I had, I would remember right now. So I'm just like, what is defined as a superhero? I mean, people with magical powers? Is that a superhero TV show?
It could be, but I was thinking more like Batman or DC or Marvel.
No. I'm such a sheltered BB. No, I haven't watched, honestly, I didn't grow up watching any much mainstream TV or film. I actually watch just more international stuff.
Do you not watch much TV at all?
I don't. I mean, I have such an extensive list of things that people have recommended to me that I would love to watch, and I'm very slowly doing it, but I have a television binging problem, and so it interferes with my sleep, and it's hard for me to stop watching the shows, and I get very invested and I get worried about the characters, and so I've been trying to really slow down my intake of watching shows. I try and do it when I'm with people because then they can turn it off, and then I can be a functional human being in this society at least. Um, but yeah, I it's not because I don't want to. It's just because I have an issue with control, which I think we all do in some way. It manifests in this way. Yeah, yeah,
I think that's a problem many people
yeah,
have.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess.
I have that too.
Yeah. Well, how do you do? What do you do though? Like if you have to sleep, or if you have to go to work the next day, or you have to do things. How do you do?
Maybe I have a little bit of self-control, and if I don't,
Yeah.
then I have to lose card
Yeah.
and don't get much sleep.
Yeah.
It happened when I watched the first few episodes of Reacher.
Oh yeah.
I originally wanted to only watch one
Yes.
episode, and then I watched way
Oh
more
no.
than I wanted.
No. Oh, I'm sorry to contribute to sleep.
What does a TV show have to have in order for you to be watching it?
Okay. I love interesting cinematography. Um, I like it when the I like it when I feel that the writers have given a lot of care and detail and thought into all the characters, no matter how big or how small. I like it when things are not predictable, and I like it when things are not on the same vein of not being predictable, but they're not kind of the understanding of those individual characters isn't specifically explained or flat out put out there for you. So there's like some thought that has to go into understanding why people are behaving in certain ways. And I like it when the relationships are gray and not super black and white. I like it when there's all kinds of representation. So we see different kinds of characters from all kinds of walks of life because I want to learn about the world. I want to learn about people. So I want to hear different stories and see that people from different backgrounds, people from different beliefs, people from different um, languages, cultures, sexual orientations, people with disabilities. I just want to learn more about the world. So um, I also, in the same vein of loving representation, I also like it when the stories aren't just about that, where your identity is your difference. I like knowing just what a day-to-day is like. So for me to watch a show, I like to have all those. I'm obviously an actor, so I love acting and I love watching people perform. I love people surprising me with their performances. Um, Attention to editing, how things are edited, the punctuation of the story. Um, yeah, it's a lot of things. Or for it just to be really fun and silly and entertaining. That's also cool too. So either like stimulating my mind in this very kind of intense way or just like helping me have a laugh and relax. And also those things can come together. You can be stimulating my brain and also make me laugh. So yeah, all those things.
Are you picky about anything?
I think it depends. I think I can be quite picky, but yeah, it depends on what. I can be very picky about food, not about eating it, but just about judging it. Yes, I can be quite picky. I can keep those judgments to myself. Um, yeah, I can be very picky about art. Um, I don't know. I think we all are in some ways about the things that matter to us.
What would you like to see in a TV show that you haven't seen yet?
Mm. Something, and I mean, this might exist. This might just be my ignorance of knowing what's out there. I would like to see um, something that is very difficult and painful and complex. Like, I would like to see an examination of human suffering uh, that that makes us think about how our society functions, but for it to be absolutely hilarious. So yeah, a comedy.
Before the first rewrite of the script of Motherland Season 3, have you seen what storyline there was for the Tom and Kelly?
I mean, we get the episodes. I mean, we get different scripts. Also depending on whether you're in the episode or not. Um, I was at all the table reads, so I was able to like, no matter what was happening, whether I was in the episode or not, I was keeping score of what was actually going to be filmed, although that did have to change sometimes. Um, but yeah, usually you get the script for the episodes that you're as they come, like in kind of order. You don't get all of them all at once. I think especially if you're a guest star versus a regular, maybe regulars get a bit more. But we get those, and then you see like different versions. So like a blue script and a pink script and a white script. And I think because things were shifting so much at that point, I was just waiting for the final one because you don't want to get attached to something and then that changes. And because of COVID, because people were getting sick, things were changing, and I really, really commend what the writers had to deal with because sometimes it was kind of day of, and also those actors as well that had to adapt right on the fly. Like I think that they were dealing with like difficult circumstances, but did a really good job considering what they were having to deal with. So yeah, I don't have any kind of like secret plot lines of like what should have happened just because I at some point just stopped checking. I was just like, okay, let's see what's gonna happen today. It was a real day-to-day thing.
After you wrapped season 3, you and Jess did a not
Yes.
baking video
Yeah.
called Baking Beyond the Grave. It was so great.
I'm glad.
Thank you for that.
Oh, it was total pleasure.
How was Nikta going to die? Baking
Yeah.
Beyond the Grave was called that for a reason.
The baking beyond. That was Jess. Um, and I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. Um, I think I think maybe, but I'm not sure. But I think it ended up being Baking Beyond the Grave of the show because the show had ended. But initially, I think that even for season one, when we finished season one, I was like, Nick is kind of like the bad guy-ish. I I think I was convinced that Nikta was gonna die. Um, Wait, I'm trying to remember if that ever was happening. No, but I think maybe Jess and I joked about it, and then Jess was like, "Oh my God, if Nikta dies, I have to be there. I have to be there with you." Um, but we were just joking. She's really good at kind of like these little like log liney titles and stuff. Like she thinks them up like this, and I was always really impressed. So I think that we were joking about it, and we were talking about making tiramisu together, and then she's like, "Oh my God, let's call it Baking Beyond the Grave." But wait, I'm trying to remember. Maybe Nectar was supposed to die. Was supposed to die. I can't remember. I don't think so. I don't think so. I really don't think so. Um, but yeah, so we had a quite a fun time. Um, just like spoofing and joking. This was on set when we were like making Beyond the Grave. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm sorry if it's not exciting. My memory is not.
Which ship out of Nick Holder, Nick Telly, Nick Tolder, and Nick
Yes.
do you like the
Oh, right.
most and why?
Me. Oh my God, what do I like the most? I'm gonna say I've always said you can ship Nikta with anyone. So I'm gonna stay solid to that and say that Nikta, in my opinion, is a solo poly person. So whether Nicta's with Petra, Nicta's with Tally, Nicta's with Alder, and Nicta's with Tally and Alder and Petra, like all of the things are cool. Because you know what? Nicta's been through a lot. Has had a hard childhood and clearly has a really hard time connecting and letting go with people and trusting. Um, and a lot of those qualities are needed to have like a profound, deep relationship with someone, in my opinion. And I think that she's scared to be vulnerable and just be with, um, let herself be totally taken in by one person. I think it feels safer to instead of feel that possessiveness, which I think is something that she's really scared of. And that's fine. That's totally fine. But I think Nikta is more down to connect with multiple people and see how that feels. And maybe there's a lot of space for different lovers in Nikta's heart. I don't know about life partners, but lovers for sure. They're a they're an evolving person.
After the Nick and Alder scene in 310, what do you think will they do to repair their relationship?
I mean, I think obviously apologizing is a first step for them, but then probably just making fun of each other quite a bit. I think that you can see, I mean, Nick is a very snarky person for sure. Um, and so there's a lot of tongue in cheek, as you may say. Uh, I still think that there's rivalry between them for sure. And really, really forgiving someone is it's a big task. So I think that that's just the beginning of it. I don't think that forgiveness is a given. I think it's something that ebbs and flows. And definitely given their history, um, there's so much trust that's been violated for both of them. So regaining that, I think the intentions are totally there for sure. But regaining that, I think, is a rocky road, and there'll be a lot of kind of dark humor and lots of ups and downs.
If Alder never betrayed Nikta back in the day,
Okay. All
and the
right.
spree didn't exist, what role
Uh-huh.
in the army
Mm-hmm.
would have Nikta have in the year of 2019?
Okay. So if Alder hadn't betrayed Nikta, so then I mean I'm gonna have to play this out in my head. So that means that Alder would have had to not use Nikta's work to um, kill the witches that were trying to be freed in Liberia. Um, so that's the thing. So Nikta in that trip realizes that these witches are trying to be freed. So I think that is a big part of why the spree gets created. Um, so I'm assuming that there would still be some form of uh, discussion, or because Alder is the general at that time and Nikta is the protege, about what they're doing and why they're following the orders of the current government. Because I do think that the killing of the witches is what turns Nikta against Alder, but the realization that we're fighting witches that want to be freed happens before that. So that realization's there. So I have to understand. So the spree hasn't been created. So it has to be in my mind for this to work that Nikta has been able to some extent open Alder's mind up to the possibility that following blind orders isn't something that we have to do as witches. in order to survive anymore, and that we're a strong military army. So, um, yeah, that would go back to like what happened with that government. Like, did the like do we stop following orders of that government? Do we start trying to um, support those witches that want freedom? Oh my God, this is putting so many questions. I mean, the spree might still exist. It might just be different. Um, and depends how Alder reacts in that moment. Um, Also, if we go down the territory of them being lovers, um, then there's less of that break, and love is a great way to bring people in. It's a great way to change things in the world rather than I think that when I was just listening to a podcast about when you are trying to talk with someone disagrees with you, if you come at them with animosity and anger and hate, which is obviously super valid feelings, the chances of actually getting somewhere with that person's really hard. So if Nikta is in a place of loverdom with Alder, then maybe there's a way to shift Alder's mind and bring Alder to Nikta's side with respect to which is freedom, or finding just more of a balance. So where would they be in 2019? There's so many possibilities. I'll go with one. What if they both leave the army? um, and and try and create um, and try and create might not be called the spree, but could be called something different. Um, and
Do you really think Alder would leave the army?
with Nikta by choice because of the realization of what they're fighting for, or just being, or try and harness that army because at that point, witches have so much power. Yes, they are the tools of the government, but they have so much power. They have actual magical powers to some extent, and they have all the military force. So do they have to follow who that government is? If it is a tyrannical leader. Um, so yeah, I don't know if that just offers new ideas, new perspectives, but I mean, if you want to even add more to that, you can imagine that let's say they escape the army, we get to where we get to, and I'm curious about where Tally would be at, and like how would these three re-encounter each other? Would Tally be in the army? Who knows? So many options. Out to the beautiful writers to continue creating and imagining their own possibilities.
Who would Nikta be friend with from the people we saw on screen? Who would she be buddies with?
Buddies with? I think with Kalida, because Kalida has like a real stoic. She's very powerful. She's very insightful. She doesn't take bullshit. She's opinionated. Um, so I think she's like an intellectual match for Nikta to be able to kind of. We don't really get to see them interact, but I think there is like an interesting friendship that could be created there. Obviously, there's like a really strong connection with Tally, and Tally pushes Nikta in all kinds of different ways. Um, But over the course of season three, Nikta changes a lot and has to work with this crew. And you do see a connection happen with Scylla. You see a kind of connection and respect happen with the rest of the team that she eventually, adapts to. Um, there's a lot of possibilities for friendship for Nikta. It's just, I think Nikta has harder trouble in groups and has an easier time one on one.
I thought, well, a bit older people, like
Okay.
Anacostia, or even Isadora.
Or even Isadora. Very, very possible. But again, I think it would be a one-on-one situation. They'd have to, I think Isadora and Nikta would get along a lot because they both, for one, I think Isadora is fascinated by all the kind of spree work that Nikta's worked on. And Nick would be curious about all the other plethora of information that Isadora has been gathering over the years. So definitely, Isadora is a very curious person. Uh, and with Anacostia, although Anacostia has grown up in this world of the military and knows her place and knows how to follow orders, she does have the ability to think critically and to make different kind of calls. And you see that in the other seasons with allowing Scylla to be free and all those things. So I think that that openness and that aspect of critical thinking is really a huge kind of foundation for friendship with Nikta. So very possible, of course. I think there's a lot of possibilities. I'm trying to think if there's anyone that she definitely wouldn't be friends with. Um, no, I think there's a lot of space. You know, sometimes we think of people that are kind of more quiet or they keep to themselves or who have had a hard time and have a hard time socially connecting as people that can't have friends. And I don't think that's true at all. I think it's just about making a safe space in order to connect with people. And I think, in my opinion, in Nikta's case, it's more on a one-on-one basis. So the group setting is just not the best place for that.
Do you have any
Mm-hmm.
other projects that's coming out?
That I can. I mean, we all just went through a lovely experience of the, I wouldn't say lovely experience, I'm being sarcastic, but I think massive solidarity to the writers and the actors for the strike. But it also came with a quiet time. There is a film that will be coming out, Le jour où le dromadaire est parti. It's a Québécois film. It should be coming out, I think, this year, that I was lucky to work on. Obviously, Reacher is out now, and I can talk about it, and that is out season 2. Check it out. Other than that, I'm really lucky. I'm going to be doing the voice for a couple characters in an audiobook called Your Country is No Longer Yours. Or This Country is No Longer Yours. Um, And I also will be on a TV show called Alerte, which is a Québécois TV show. I have a little part coming up in there. And yeah, I think that's what's happening for now. And then again, yeah, lots of auditions, lots of potential possibilities here and there, and so some fun things to look forward to. But those things will be coming out, I think, later in the year.
To which cons are you going this year?
Well, I am I'm always a fan of cons. I always love being able to meet everyone actually in person because I think I think what's hard sometimes about like social media um, and more public ways of connecting with people is that I'm not that person. I'm more of a one-on-one person and similar to Nick, but I like to meet people and I like those connections also not to be broadcasted everywhere. And I think fan cons are kind of a cool way to actually meet the individuals that love the show and fall in love with the characters. And of course, to see my castmates whom I love. So it's kind of like we just get to hang out and see each other. And we're lucky that it's such a great crew and that we enjoy being with each other because it's like, it's great. So I'm in negotiations for Brussels right now, soon to be confirmed. Um, but that's it for now. But any other fan cons, I'm of course super open to. So I don't think I
Were
like.
you ever contacted for which one?
No, I have not. No.
Thank you so much for doing the interview with me. If you want, we can do another one, a bit more in German, if you like.
Yeah, let me get my German to a better level, and then we can definitely do that. Well, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for bringing Nikta back into my life for today and the magical world of Motherland. And yeah, it was really nice to talk to you and to whoever was watching this. I'm so glad to know that people are still creating and that the imaginations are still being sparked by all of this work. So that's really cool.